Hey everybody, it's Marshmallow here, and yes, Arrow. We gotta talk about Arrow Season 5, Episode 7. It was a really good episode. I think it was a solid, not the best that I've seen of Arrow. A lot of people are really complaining about Arrow, just because it's trying to go back to its roots, yet it can't go back to its roots because it's just so comic booky. I understand, but why can't you just like what's going on Arrow right now? It's so great, but we gotta talk about it, so let us get started. This episode was really great. We got to have Vigilante, and obviously, we know who Vigilante is. It's so obvious, and we'll talk about it. If you guys don't know who it is, I'll explain. I got some explaining to do, because it's so obvious. But yeah, we got Vigilante this episode. I actually did like Vigilante. I thought he was really cool. Don't like how he looks. I think his suit's kind of weird. But it kind of matches Vigilante. Like, it looks like a modernized version of Vigilante from the comics, which is what all the suits are in the CW verse. I mean, all of them look like the suits from the comics, but more modern. And a lot of leather. But yeah, it was really nice to see Vigilante. I thought he was a really cool, kind of like temporary villain for the season. He will be back, obviously. But I think that it was really interesting to see him in this episode, just because it was a really cool introduction, and I think that it was different seeing him. But in this episode, we got a lot of him. I think it was really cool to see the action scenes that they had with Vigilante. I did like how he took Mr. Terrific, like kidnapped Mr. Terrific. I thought that was also really cool. And Oliver had to go save the day. I'm really, like, sorry for Artemis, because she wasn't there when Mr. Terrific was kidnapped, so, like, I hope nothing bad happened, but, like, we saw her at the end of the episode, so I think she's okay. And we'll talk about that ending, because it was so cool. But yeah, so the team goes undercover, like, they literally go undercover as bank robbers in this episode. I thought that was actually really cool. I actually really liked that. But it was, like, really fun to see them go, like, bad for a few, I guess, minutes in this episode. I like how Felicity was also involved, like, out in the field. Like, that was cool, too. It kind of reminded me how she was out in the field in season, like, 3 or 4 when she was in, like, the Atom suit. I think it was season 3. When she was in the Atom suit, like, flying all around, like, that was really funny, too. So, great job, Felicity. You're helping. A lot of people still hate Felicity. I actually still like Felicity. I think that she's a really cool character. And I do like Emily Bett Rickards, too. She's awesome. But anyway, like the bank robbing stuff. But Mr. Terrific was great, too. I did like Mr. Terrific, you know, being kidnapped. Again, like, I'm going to say it again. I did like him being kidnapped. But I do want Mr. Terrific to get more credit. Because in the comics, and if you've ever seen the Justice League Unlimited series, he has, like, a brief cameo in one of the episodes. But he's really smart. He's, like, one of the most smartest Justice League members of all time. Didn't get that in this episode. So I want to see more, like, I want to see more of Mr. Terrific. I think that it's going to take a while with the whole team. But I feel like Curtis will come out on top out of all of the team members just because he is that character. So I'm excited for that. I thought I thought that's really cool. I think that is awesome. Now it's really obvious who Vigilante is. This guy! I can never remember his name, but the new DA is Vigilante. His character, like the character is actually Vigilante in the comics. So it makes sense, right? Like, that was an Easter egg I talked about in, like, one of the old videos for my Arrow reviews this season. So, yeah, he is Vigilante. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna do the same thing in the show. I mean, you never really know. But it's like, so, it's like, who else could it be? Like, what other character? Like, it's not Quentin, because they're setting him up to be Prometheus. So if it's not him, and they, like, obviously we know that's not true, by the way, the Prometheus thing. So it can't be Quentin because they're doing that whole other story arc. So it has to be, like, the DA, right? There's nobody... And, like, the DA has, like, a lot of anger issues and stuff. So it's like, hello? Who else would it be? It's obviously the DA. So I thought that was really cool. If you guys don't know that, yeah, he was in the comics Vigilante. So that was kind of like an Easter egg again, just to tell you guys about that. And let's talk about the flashbacks, because I actually really did like the flashbacks this episode. And a lot of people are getting tired of them. I actually liked them this episode because of this villain here, Konstantin Kovar. Now, I don't know what it is about him, but I like him as a villain. I think he's really intimidating without having to have powers or, like, being like Baron from, like, Season 4, having to find magic on the island. Like, he's really intimidating on his own, which is really cool. Like, we've never seen a villain like that before, so I think that it was really cool to see that. And I'm interested to see where they take that character because, again, we haven't had one like that, so I think that's going to be intriguing going forward. So I did like the flashbacks. They were really cool this episode. Now Quentin, like we said, he's not being set up to be Prometheus anymore, but he was kind of like in the last episode or the episode before, I can't remember for sure. But he told Thea in this episode, I think, I haven't watched this episode in a while, but he told Thea everything's okay, but he's not Prometheus because, you know, they Prometheus, they said that Prometheus is setting up Quentin to think that he is that person when he's out cold, or I guess drunk, or I don't know, whatever you want to say. But we gotta talk about the ending. Artemis, hello? Like, Evelyn meets up with Prometheus on a roof, and we found out that Artemis is actually working with Prometheus. So I kind of didn't see this coming, but when I had saw this, like when my initial reaction was, why didn't I see this happening? Because the same thing, like almost the same thing happened in Young Justice Season 1, when Artemis was working for Sportsmaster, and Sportsmaster was her father. So what I'm thinking is, Prometheus Sportsmaster? Like, is he gonna become Sportsmaster after he's done being Prometheus? And who is Prometheus? Like, is it gonna be Artemis's dad? Probably not. I still think it's Tommy. I still want it to be Tommy so bad. But I don't know. It could be anybody at this point. But I definitely think that Tommy's the likely candidate to be Prometheus. I don't know how, but Tommy died in Season 1, so it's been like 4 years, so he can, almost 4 years completely, so he could be Prometheus. I mean, 4 years of training, seems like it could be Prometheus to me, not gonna lie. I mean, how much, like, Sarah had, like, what, 7 years of training, and she's, well, maybe not 7, I don't know. Oliver was gone on the island for 5 years. Okay, so 5 years of training for Sarah, right? And she's a League of Assassins girl now, so I don't know, we'll see. But what did you guys think of Prometheus and the Artemis twist? What did you guys think of Quentin not being Prometheus? And what did you guys think of the flashbacks? Comment down below, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.